Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel coming at ya with another action-packed Moon Lambo style video. Lots to talk about in this particular hot jam, including this piece, 166.2 million XRP sent with Ripple and Ripple-related addresses involved. So I will be running through that. I've also got this piece from Ripple Insights, which is their blog series titled On Campus, Fighting COVID-19 with Blockchain at Duke University's Fuqua School of Business, which I assume I did not pronounce correctly. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And also, if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, damn it, subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, because if you do, we can be friends. Maybe even best friends. Let's just see where this all takes us, one step at a time. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. I'm just so excited about it. Here's a tweet from my fellow XRP YouTuber, Jungle Inc. And this caught my attention, so I'm actually going to start off the video just briefly talking about this because it's kind of freaking funny anyway. But he wrote the following, which caught my attention. Apple is facing a $1 trillion lawsuit, and you're all tripping over Ripple's legal issues. So I read that and I was like, huh, what is going on here? And sure enough, here's a piece from the New York Post titled, Crazy Customer Sues Apple for $1 trillion over iPhone features. So yes, I suppose if you're Ripple, just understand that things could be worse. And I already think that, Bradley Sostak and everybody else that taking place in the litigation against Ripple, it's completely nonsensical, and I'm willing to bet that they know it. It just seems like a money grab to me, but nonetheless, this is actually more comical and entertaining than that, though. So check this out. This unsatisfied customer wants a big slice of the apple pie. Oh, so clever. Look, see what they did there? Because the company's Apple, and they said it with the apple pie. Okay, that's so clever. All right, after experiencing an alleged phone mishap, Missouri's Rayvon Terrell Parker, that's a fun name, attempted to get even with the world's largest tech company by suing them for a cool $1 trillion, which is their approximate net worth. So what, he's just going to get it, and he's just going to have the company. He just gets Apple. This is so hysterical. If successful, he would become the richest man in the world, eclipsing Amazon's Jeff Bezos by almost $850 billion, according to Forbes. Now, Parker, who's 39, and apparently a complete jackass, claimed his iPhone was stolen after he took the device in for repairs in 2018, Apple Insider reports. The employee at the Apple store repaired the device but kept it by deceiving the plaintiff, knowing that it was the first phone to have new features, Parker claimed in a statement filed at the U.S. District Court in East Missouri on June 1st. Something tells me that this particular man is not fully mentally developed. That's my best guess. Now, the spiffy settings in question included the ability to circumvent certain startup screen options, as well as a nifty group FaceTime-esque function. Not only that, but Parker claimed that his original phone was swapped out for an old one with factory settings that required him to reset passwords and download apps all over again. And so Mashable ended up suspecting that what happened is, and they don't really go into speculate any further about how this happened, but they do suspect that actually what happened here is that Parker had installed a version of iOS that was not yet intended for the public, and that in repairing the iPhone, the Apple employee removed that version. And so then he's like, $1 trillion, perfectly reasonable, perfectly reasonable. Just have Apple and be the richest person on the entire planet. You twerp. Oh my gosh. But it is funny. There's no freaking way that this man's going to get anything right. This is absurd. Ripple, you don't got it so bad by comparison. Now, here you go. 166.2 million XRP sent with Ripple and Ripple-related addresses involved, which is quite massive. According to analytical data shared by the XRPL Monitor, Ripple, along with its partners and the major South Korean exchange BitHum, have wired 166.2 million XRP, worth about $32.5 million. The XRPL Monitor account that watches transactions on the XRP ledger has noticed several lump stashes of XRP moved over the past day. And so they're still using that word lump, but we've only got 2 articles where they called the XRP juicy lumps. I'm hoping it makes a comeback. start a change.org petition. Maybe we can get this thing rolling. I want this media outlet, this crypto media outlet, to go back to stating that these are juicy XRP lumps, which is ridiculous. It makes me smile a little bit, you know. I like to chuckle every now and then. I'll tell you what, as far as comedy goes, look, I know what I hate, and I don't hate that. 20 million was moved by the RL18VN wallet, which is allegedly related to Ripple and could be one of its XRP escrow addresses. One of the 10 million XRP sums was sent to Bitstamp, which of course is a on-demand liquidity partner with Ripple officially, which is a Luxembourg exchange hosting Ripple's European on-demand liquidity corridor. Now, Ripple sent, and by the way, I think that they're also the primary player in the United States, because they have multiple locations, of course, of the United States flowing into Mexico. There's also Bittrex in the United States, which is also officially partnered with Ripple, but my understanding is that Bitstamp is where the bulk of that volume's flowing anyway. But Ripple sent 5 million XRP in-house, and Bitstamp also moved 5.2 million between its wallets, according to the data provided by the BitHub Analytics website. And the major South Korean exchange BitHub moved 46 million XRP, worth over $9 million between its wallets. So lots of massive movements of XRP indeed. Shout out to XRP Crypto Wolf for sending this next piece directly to my inbox. My friend, you send me all sorts of stuff, and I want you to know how much I genuinely appreciate it. You, sir, are dedicated to providing information to the XRP community, and I am thankful that you're willing to so regularly send all sorts of good stuff directly to my Twitter inbox. Virtual Air 5. All right, into this piece now. Again, it's Ripple Insights. It's part of their blog series, and it's titled, On Campus, Fighting COVID-19 with Blockchain at Duke University's Fuqua School of Business. With that inflection going up to indicate that I am not certain that's how that's enunciated. For Duke University, Fuqua School of Business professor Campbell Harvey, the classroom is a place to envision the future. By helping students forecast the future, including where technology will both foster growth and fade from relevance, he aims to help them make better career decisions as well as positively impact the world. As part of that mission, his well-known course on blockchain has been wildly successful. Since launching in 2014, it has grown in popularity as an interdisciplinary look at the technology, involving a mix of as many as 200 graduate and undergraduate students from the university's legal, business, engineering, and computer science schools. This last semester provided his class with an opportunity to study a potential application of blockchain in real time. The day after the Iowa Democratic Party's debacle in Iowa caucus voting, the class pivoted to examine the reasons for the delay and then explore how blockchain could be used to improve future caucuses. And really, there's all sorts of ways that you can use this, and this just gets me thinking back to what would legitimately be an awesome use case where you can use blockchain and you don't need to have a native digital asset. It's just for elections. You know, as long as you trust cryptography, that would be probably the most secure way to ensure that, and nothing's perfect, but the most secure way to ensure that, nefarious intentions can't be successful. I think you could prevent all sorts of voter fraud if you could actually implement something like that. But the class devised a system by which caucus leaders were allocated by the central headquarters a certain quantity of tokens representing the number of delegates they control. They could then vote by sending tokens to each candidate's address. And then they cite the candidates here, so Warren, Sanders, Biden, etc., where each token represented a committed delegate. It proved instantaneous, easy to track, completely transparent, and even allowed for mistakes to quickly be corrected by sending back the coins to caucus leaders and having them resend to the candidate addresses. The exercise helped his students learn about real-world applications for both blockchain and smart contracts. Now, of course, for this particular, say this were a use case getting used in the world, if this were 2017, there would be that use case, and then there would be needlessly a coin attached, which was just a money grab. And that's what was so hysterical to me when I entered the world of crypto at the end of 2017. I was like, why do all these projects, maybe they're good ideas, maybe they're not? I was like, well, why do they have coins attached to them? I kept asking, and then I'd ask all sorts of people, and it just I never got a legitimate answer to that. I was like, why does it need to have a coin attached, though? It just seems so obvious to me, and it's like most people weren't willing to ask that question, or it just didn't occur to them. Like, why does it need a coin? Well, they don't. Most of the projects didn't need coins attached in the first place. It's just a money grab. It's completely stupid here. But then they have the subheading, Fighting COVID-19 Using Blockchain. Professor Harvey believes that blockchain also has immediate application in the fight against COVID-19. Specifically, as a tool for the effective tracking of coronavirus testing, vaccine production, and supply chain improvement. Supply chains provide an example of both current and future applications of the technology. In the short term, blockchain can help ensure the integrity of production and distribution for critical items like PPE, consumer goods, or food supplies during a time of crisis. Now, this wasn't completely mind-blowing or surprising me, because I've heard of this type of use case before for like Walmart. Pick your supermarket. You can use it in all sorts of different supply, not just that, in any sort of supply chain where you're tracking what's occurring from end to end in terms of distribution. But and of course, which is, by the way, another instance where you do not need to attach a coin here. But still, there's certainly utility to be had there. I certainly suspect. The only downside, or I shouldn't say only, but a primary downside of this is it's one of those things where it's like garbage in, garbage out. So you still have to put in the correct information, and then it's cryptographically secure, and there can be a legitimate use case having blockchain here. And some people have argued that it would be better than just utilizing your typical database, because there's all sorts of other entities involved, and trust is required. But still, it's garbage in, garbage out. So I don't know if there's a perfect solution to that. Maybe somebody's come up with one. But anyway, the piece continues. It can track every step for those essential items, including verification of quantity and quality, as handoffs are made from one node to the next in the chain. But as we look ahead, that same approach can be used to record provenance and freshness for our everyday food supply, which again gets to what I was just citing here. Cites the the example of a supplier using blockchain to track when strawberries are harvested, from which farm they originated, and whether it is organic or not. And so then again, you go back to the person. Okay, these are organic, sure, except for what if they're not? So again, it's in the blockchain. It's in the blockchain there. You can only eliminate the issue of trust to a certain degree with that. Now, if there's some sort of awesome implementation beyond that, or it makes it less, even if it's not foolproof, maybe if it just makes it less likely that you're going to have false information within the system, then maybe it's still useful. Maybe it doesn't have to be a completely infallible system. It's just not necessarily the end-all be-all. It could be better, but anyway. Excuse me. I don't know where that's come from. The blockchain then matches product quantities and batches as they are loaded on and off trucks and warehouses on their way to the final retailer. So interesting stuff to think through. It's fun just to conceptually think through and what the future might look like anyway, so I'm happy to run through this piece. But that is it for this video. I know, so sad it's over. We laughed, we cried, we became very good friends. It's been a heck of a 13 minutes. Sad to see it go. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything, because of anything that I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!